let's talk about savings and investment. Hi guys, welcome back again to the channel. If it's your first time seeing my face, my name is OMUGWO and you are most definitely welcome. Now in today's video, I'm going to be talking about saving and investing as a beginner, because after using my whole life savings to move myself across the 70s from Nigeria to the United Kingdom, I've learned a few things, seeing as I've had to start literally from scratch in a new country, and I wanted to share some of those things with you. A few disclaimers before we go on. I am not a financial advisor. I cannot give you any significant financial advice. I do not have the answers to all your problems. All I'm sharing is my experiences, and if you want financial advice, please speak to a financial advisor about that, because I'm simply not licensed to do that, and I literally don't have the answers to those questions. Now, if that sounds like something you want to watch, then you definitely want to keep on watching. Please do all to like this video, because it simply tells the YouTube algorithm that the video is impactful, and it then proceeds to share it with everyone else who would be interested in this type of content. And you could also do us the huge favor of sharing this video with anyone who you think would be interested in it. Smash the subscribe button to join this family, and without further ado, let's jump right into the video. As a new immigrant, I know that it is extremely difficult to save and then subsequently invest. And as a rule of thumb, according to what many financial advisors would say, you need to have about 3 to 6 months worth of savings in liquid cash available to you, just in case something goes wrong, just in case you lose your job, just in case an unexpected expense happens. You need to have that money readily available, and that is where the importance of savings comes into play. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is looking at your spending habits. So I want you to just take a step back and look into your account, look at your savings, look at your spendings, look at the patterns. Take 3 months of your bank statement, analyze that statement, and see where exactly you could cut down on a few things. I'm sure you don't need that cup of coffee every single day. I'm sure you don't need a new outfit for every single occasion that you have to attend. I'm sure that when you look into your bank account, you will see 1 or 2 things that you can potentially scrap that can turn into a real savings for you. When you have done this, you would definitely identify a few extra coins that can be saved. Alternatively, if you are like me and you want to automate the process of savings, you can set up a direct debit to move some money from your bank account, just like you would with your bills. So for example, you have your council tax bills, your rent and all of that. Immediately your salary comes in, you get a direct debit that removes some money every single month and sets it aside towards savings. You can do this for any type of savings and for any type of investments, but we're going to talk about investments a little further down the line. Still with savings, I personally use Revolut, which is an online banking platform. Is very different from like the physical banks that you can walk into, like HSBC or NatWest and all of that, in the sense that it is typically online and there's no physical store for you to go to. Even if you wanted to go to, you could just only contact them online. But I find that Revolut is very, very useful in terms of helping me to save and invest. I've set up something on my Revolut which rounds off every single amount of money I spend. So for example, if I spend £5.30, the extra 70 pence on top of that £5.30 to make it £6 will automatically go into my savings vault, and it adds up very, very quickly. The best thing is you will never even notice that this money has left your account, because it's literally so minute, and every single day you spend money, this little change on top goes into your savings vault. So if you take the bus, and the bus costs £1.65 in London, for example, extra 45 pence on top automatically goes into your savings vault. If you buy some groceries and the groceries cost £30.70, the extra 30 pence automatically goes into your vault. Stuff like that It is so automated, it is so simple, and you will never even notice that the money is gone. After a significant period, you would then discover that you have indeed saved a good amount of money. And the best thing about Revolut is, depending on the type of account that you have, it will give you a nice interest on top of how much you have saved. So you can get 3.5% interest on whatever amount that you have saved, and that is simply amazing, seeing as on an average inflation tends to be around 2 to 2.5% per year. And if this high interest savings account is giving you 3.5%, then you are definitely combating the rate of inflation. Another thing that you can do is Plum. First of all, I should just mention that none of these companies are sponsoring this video, but if you guys want to sponsor me, please contact me. I would definitely love to talk some business with you. But for this video, I just use them and I like them. That's why I'm sharing them. None of them are sponsoring this video, but let's talk Plum. Now, Plum is an AI tool that basically analyzes your bank account, analyzes your spendings, analyzes all your bills and all your expenditures, and tells you how much you can afford to save per week without affecting the quality of your life. It is simply mind-blowing. I'm going to have the links to download Revolut and the links to download Plum down in the description box, just in case you guys want to check them out. But when Plum analyzes your account, it will tell you this month, this week, you can afford to save £3, and it automatically takes £3 from your bank account. This week, you can afford to save £50. It will automatically take £50 from your bank account. And over a period, you would realize that you have saved so much money without even trying. It is simply amazing, and it is simply a game changer. And I am absolutely here for it, and I think that you guys definitely need to try it out. Again, the links to Plum and the links to Revolut will be down in the description box, just in case you guys want to check them out. Let's talk now about investing. Once you have successfully saved 3 to 4 months living expenses, and you know that should in case anything happens, you are covered, you don't have to worry too much about sorting out your daily bills because you have saved a good amount of liquid cash. The next thing would be to save towards an investment. So let's say you have £1,000 extra on top of your 3 to 4 months living expense that you want to save. You can then use that to jumpstart your investment. And what is an investment? Because before I came into this country, I didn't really understand investment. Investing as a whole is such a complex term that can be kind of challenging for people, really. So I want to talk about investing as I have now understood it, and understood that it's not as complex as it seems. Okay, the first thing that you want to do is to understand what an investment is. So an investment is literally something that puts money in your pocket. So let's talk about investing in a property. For example, you find a house that you want to buy, you've successfully bought the house for £100,000. Over 10 years, say the house appreciates in value, and now in 10 years time the house is worth £200,000. The fact that you bought that house for £100,000 has now put an extra £100,000 in your pocket over time. That's basically the way investment works. Unfortunately, getting a house or getting property is a really expensive form of investment, and not a lot of people can afford it, because you would need to save for a deposit to be able to afford to jumpstart your investment portfolio in terms of your property. And that's where a LISA account comes into play. LISA account simply means a lifetime individual savings account, and it is basically a form of saving towards your first property in the UK or saving towards retirement. There are criteria for you to be able to open a LISA account, first of which is that obviously you must be resident in the United Kingdom to be able to open a LISA account. Second thing is you must be less than 40 to be able to open a LISA account. And the third thing is that you must either use the money that you have saved in your LISA account towards purchasing your first property in the UK or towards retirement. I personally use Moneybox to open my LISA account, and what happens then is that for every £4 that you save, the government gives you £1 extra as JARA stroke bonus stroke. They just dash you one extra pound. So if you save £8, the government dashes you £2, and that means that you have £10. If you save £1,000, the government will give you £250, and that means that you now have £1,250, and you can do this up to £4,000. So for every £4,000 that you save, the government would give you an additional £1,000 towards purchasing your first property. This is simply amazing because there is no savings account that can potentially give you £1,000 for every £4,000 that you save that exists, except the LISA account. That is how a LISA account works, and it is simply amazing. Again, with the direct debits, you can set up a direct debit to your bank account to every single month. If you want to aim to save £4,000 every single week, you're going to have to save about £77 every single week. And at the end of the 52 weeks in a year, you would have saved £4,000, and that would have allowed you to claim the £1,000 benefit that the government gives. It is simply amazing, and of course, it is tax free. Another thing you can do is also to set up a direct debit towards saving for your child's future. Just as you have a lifetime ISA account, there's also a junior ISA account, so a junior individual savings account. This is a really beautiful way to start saving towards the future for your children. Again, you don't have to start with anything amazing, anything so big. You can start with £50, you can start with £100 a month. Just put something aside every single month towards your children's future. And because it's an investment, it has so many years for compounding to take place and for the effect of the investment that you have done to magnify and become a significant amount of money. A junior ISA account, your child will have to get the money out by the time the child is 18, and that could be a beautiful gift that you could give to your child towards helping them with their first property, towards helping them with their university tuition, towards helping them with anything really, and that has put them at a higher pedestal when compared to the rest of their mates and the rest of their peers, because you started that journey with a junior ISA account today. So that is another way that you can do this. Again, all of these things can be automated. All you need to do is just factor them into your monthly expenses. So if, for example, you are putting aside £50 or £100 a month towards your junior ISA, your child's junior ISA account, and you're putting aside £300 a month towards your LISA account, and you're putting aside maybe from the Plum and from the Revolut round off and everything, you're able to save another £100 a month. You have successfully saved £500 a month without any conscious effort, or without saying, oh, this month I have to save £500. It's all automated and it's all done for you without trying. We've talked about investing in property, and we've talked about how a LISA account can help you invest in property. What if you don't want to buy property? What if you just want to buy stocks and shares? What if you just want to buy funds, index funds, for example? How do you get into that? So basically, if you wanted to buy stocks, for example, you can go to a stockbroker and decide to buy stocks. Luckily for us nowadays, you don't need to call any individual person who is a stockbroker and say, oh, I want to buy £100 worth of Apple stocks. These things are available online, and you can buy through stockbrokers online. I know that in the UK, they've got Vanguard, for example, and even Revolut I spoke about can help you in terms of investing. Where it gets tricky is, should you buy individual stocks or should you buy funds? So if you're buying individual stocks, for example, that means you're going to buy Apple. You're going to buy, maybe if you have £500 to buy towards stocks, you want to buy £100 worth of Apple stocks, you want to buy £100 worth of Tesla stocks, you want to buy £100 worth of Google stocks. You want to buy the individual stocks like that. The good thing is, you may be lucky and Apple stocks does exponentially well, and you're able to triple your Apple stocks from £100 to £300. But you may also be unlucky, and that £100 that you invested will literally become zero because Apple doesn't do so well over the next coming years. How can you combat that? Is by investing in funds instead. I know that there's this guy, Warren Buffett, who spoke about investing really, and I've listened to a few things that he's had to say about investing, and he generally advises against investing in individual stocks because it's literally the same thing as putting all your eggs in one basket. And although it may do well, and the likelihood of it not doing well is is crazy, and you would end up losing all the money that you've invested, which is where funds come into play, because all you have to do is pick a fund and invest. In the US, for example, they have the S&P 500, which is basically a compilation of the 500 top big boys in the UK, in the US, big companies in the US. And you are literally investing £100, which is going to be split across all 500 of them, so that even if one of them does badly, what are the odds that all the 499 of them that are remaining do badly? It gives you like checks and balances, and it makes sure that the likelihood of you actually losing a significant amount of money is much lower than, for example, if you invested in an individual stock. I hope that makes sense to you. And if you go to places like Vanguard, or even some banks have these, banks like HSBC, for example, they have investment portfolios. You can decide to invest in an investment portfolio. You may decide to choose sustainable brands or just regular brands that you wanted to invest in. Doesn't matter, but it's a group of companies, and you can invest in this group of companies, and you know that the likelihood of you losing everything is much slimmer than if you invested £5,000 in just Apple alone. And the thing with investing is, obviously, you need to give it time. If you are going to need the money in the next 3 to 5 years, then it's better that you don't invest it, because the investment market really fluctuates and it bounces all around the place. Over time, if you leave the money, it will eventually bounce over the place to give you a higher amount of returns. But if you are desperate for the money and it bounces over time and it's at a lower point, and you think, oh my God, I've made a loss, I need to withdraw this money, and you withdraw the money, then you have realized the loss. As opposed to leaving that money in there and it bouncing around the place to the point that it becomes profitable, and then you have made a profit. Which is why it's important that you don't invest any money that you would need in the immediate future. Investment is a long-term game, and it's a long-term plan for the long-term future. Definitely not anything that you would need in the immediate future. You have to give it time. You have to give it minimum about 5 years for it to work its magic. The longer the better, really. But just don't invest anything that you need to use in the next 3 to 5 years, basically, which is why I spoke about having a 3 to 6 month emergency fund available in liquid cash that you can easily fall back to if you actually need money in real time. I hope that makes sense to you. The next thing that I should mention, of course, is the fact that investment is risky. And I know that I spoke about giving it some time, but obviously there is the possibility that even after you've given it some time, it will not do well and you may make a loss. But the likelihood of that is much slimmer than you making a profit, to be honest. And like, for example, if you decide to invest in the S&P 500, what are the odds that all the top 500 companies in the US are going to, capsize and do so poorly? I can promise you that if the top 500 companies in the US are doing very terribly to the point that they are making losses, then your investment is the least of the world's problem. There's probably an apocalypse happening in the world or something that is causing that to happen. And trust me, you're not going to be thinking of your investment at that point. That is why I definitely vouch for investing in funds over investing in individual stocks. So these funds can give you like an up to 7% return on investment. Investing, again, is a really long game. So this is where investing in yourself comes to play, because that tends to generate a quicker ROI. If you need to take a course, pay for that course, take the course, and improve your earning potential. Investing in yourself before even investing so much money in all of these index funds, in all of these stocks, and all of these shares, and all of that. Invest in yourself, because, for example, if I earn £2,000 and I invest in myself, take courses, write exams, do things that would make me earn £3,000, that has given me a £1,000 extra every month that I can then decide to invest in these stocks and shares, and that would potentially generate more than if I was earning £2,000 and I was investing just £200. I hope that makes sense to you. You can never go wrong in investing in yourself. If you invest in yourself continuously over the next couple of years, you can very much quadruple your earning potential, and that would then leave a bigger amount of money available for disposable income that you can use to then invest in stocks, shares, bonds, and stuff like that. And that can potentially make you a whole lot more money. Same with investing in yourself, it's starting a side hustle. If you need to start a side hustle so that you can make some extra coin to be able to afford all these things that we've spoken about, please start the side hustle. You know, the important thing at the end of the day is really increasing how much money that you can potentially make every single month, because that directly affects how much money that you have available for disposable income and available to play around with stocks, shares, investments, and stuff like that. Anyways, guys, that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.